Alright everyone, I will apologize in advance for the kind of bad lighting. I'm back in my studio, back in Toronto, and just back from my trip to Chicago. I'm not sure how I'm going to do these videos, but what I'm apologizing for is there's a bad storm, and if you follow me, you've seen my videos, you'll know I have a skylight right above my desk, which is usually great. But I don't have any overhead lighting, so I'm relying on about 3 small lights right now because I have the overhead lights on in the rest of the studio, but they're not over my desk or really that close to it. So there's a little bit of odd lighting, is what I'm trying to say. But I wanted to show you what I got when I was in Chicago. So I was in Chicago for the Urban Sketchers Chicago Chapters seminar, and they have one every year in July, and I was able to sign up for it back in, I think they started registering people in March. So I got in, and yeah, it was fantastic meeting people there. Everyone was so friendly. I was the only one from Toronto who was there doing the workshops. There was another couple from Toronto chapter, admin people, who were doing the sketch walks, because the sketch walks were open to everyone. You just had to come and register. So, but the workshops, there was one in the morning and one in the afternoon. They were 3 hours each. And so I did both Saturday and Sundays, and it was just, the only drawback was the weather was just so incredibly hot and humid, and the rain held off on Saturday, which was fantastic, but Sunday started with rain, and so we delayed our morning workshops by a little bit, but it's, you know, for the rest of the day it was kind of on and off, dark sun and just a little bit rain in the afternoon, but it was fine overall. So everybody who's registered on the workshops gets a goodie bag, and it's a beautiful tote that everything is in, and they have incredible sponsors. There's, as you see, Pella and Chisel is where the sort of headquarters for where we were all meeting at, and we're the kind hosts for registration and any of the parties and where the raffles were drawn, and also had a gallery full of urban sketchers work for sale. And you'll see there's Derwent, Blick. I got a gift card for Blick. Don't know when I'll be able to use it because I ended up coming home a bit early because of the weather. I was supposed to fly out late last night, but there was a tornado warning the night before, and there was going to be another one for last night. So it's a good thing I did, because I wouldn't have got in until 3 a.m. today. And that would not have been very nice, and would have cost a lot for taxi fare, if, you know, in a long lineup, I'm sure, for taxis. So have a look at this. These are all the kind sponsors, and I'll go through. Let's start with the big things. So Etcher gave us a watercolor pad, which is hot press paper, and I'm also looking for, they also gave a cute little pin. I'm sure that'll turn up at some point. And I've never tried Etcher paper. I heard that I heard that the sketchbooks are fantastic, and they're a little bit pricier than the ones that I normally get, but I didn't want to get hooked on them and then find that I really love them and I will have to keep paying that price. Oh, and there's there's a little pin, so I can put that on my bag. So that's one thing of paper that we could use, but I didn't. And then the other thing is this heavy sketch paper from koh-i-noor, and I was going to bring it. There's a couple of the workshops where you had to do quick thumbnails of things, and I probably would have used that better than the sketchbook that I brought, which had watercolor paper, but that's fine. And then I can't remember, one of the Chicago instructors or admin people came up with this idea that if you were in trouble while you were doing your workshop, that you just put this in front of you and then the instructor would come by to help you out. So that's pretty nice. And M. Graham, they didn't put anything in the bags, but they did contribute a lot of gouache for the gouache workshop that I did. And then this was a real nice little find. I have Neocolor 2s, but I think the first one I ever bought was a 10 or maybe the 15 tin, but that's always handy to have. And then we got these little sketchbooks, the Legion Warm White, tiny little sketchbooks. I love those. I usually get those if I see them. And then we got some pencils of varying types. These are pastel pencils, also by koh-i-noor. And so you have the primary and secondary colors, I believe. Some, and brown and black. And then more from koh-i-noor, charcoal pencils in various tones, brown, white, burnt sienna, looks like maybe raw umber and black. Charcoal. And then these pencils, these are from Generals. Again, more charcoal, charcoal white, extra black, a pastel chalk in black, and grass green. I've never tried that, so that's kind of neat to try out. I don't know if I was supposed to get 2 of these, but I did. They're the Derwent water brush, and I don't have any of these. They're quite pricey usually, so I've never bothered to buy them. And I was always I like to keep things slim in my pen case. If you see my pen case, it's usually full to bursting. So this takes up a little bit more real estate than my other ones do, but we'll give it a shot. It does hold a lot more water. Oh, and more pencils. These are Holbein, which I love. These are the primary colors. So you've got red, yellow, and blue. And to be more specific, carmine, canary yellow, and cobalt blue. And then a high precision drafting pencil by Mono. It's a 4H. And also a Mono by Tombow eraser. And those are always handy to have. I also don't have proper eraser here in the studio, so that's great. And then Hahnemühle agave paper. They've been great about trying to look for more sustainable fibers for paper instead of relying just on cotton. So this is 70% agave and 30% cotton rag. And I've used this paper before, and it's really, really nice. And I think that maybe, oh, no, I still have some more. Also various pens. There's a white gel pen by Pilot. See if you can see that. Those are great. And I just learned how to say this. It's actually Ecolina, I think. Royal Talons brush pen. I'm not sure if I have this color. It's magenta. So one of the primaries again. And they're nice thick brush pens. They're water soluble. They're not the best for light fastness, so I only use them in sketchbooks. And these are always great to have. The Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. This is a fine tip one. There we go. I used to use these all the time, but I've gone towards the Winsor & Newton ones. And then a Pilot permanent marker with a broad chisel wedge. Oh, and a neat smell. And then just more samples. So a thing of Strathmore mixed media paper. And these are toned pages, so they have gray, tan, and blue paper. So there's your blue, there's your tan, and there's your gray. And those are always nice to have. I think with colored pencil, they really pop when you have them on that. And then another thing of Etcher. I'm not sure what this is actually. So let's open. I didn't want to open things before traveling. I thought they might be safer in their packaging. Oh, so I think these are postcards. Yeah. Or samples, I guess. So there's the Etcher watercolor block paper. And the sketchbook paper, so what goes into their sketchbooks. And same sketchbooks. And the perfect sketchbook paper. Like, the perfect sketchbook is 100% cotton, and the regular Etcher sketchbook is 100% cotton, and the watercolor block is 50% cotton. So those are nice samples to have. I'll keep those. I do have, I don't know why this happens. This happened on my last video. I like to keep samples of paper. I have a binder for that. And this is Stillman & Byrne. Again, samples of their papers. They have the alpha, the beta, the gamma, the delta, the epsilon, the zeta, and the nova. And there are various GSM strengths. And they're also, some of them are cold pressed, some have medium grain, and some are toned. Like the Nova comes in different colors, beige, gray, and black. There's white, gamma, and delta are the ivory color ones, which I've had before. And you'll probably see in some of my sketchbook tours. And then this came in super handy. I did take this out of its bag, and I don't know where, oh, here it is. This is Da Vinci's Casaneo, and I have one other of their brushes. I think also in a short handle. This is very short handled. It's a flat number 10. They're number 10. And they're made in Germany. And I didn't get all the instructors put out materials lists and what they're going to be covered, and I didn't get the one for the gouache class that I was doing. There must have been something wrong with the email address that was put in, and so I didn't know we needed different various sizes of brushes. so that came in handy. Nice size flat brush. We were only working small. We're actually working on little beer coasters. So I have no idea why my camera does this. So that looks to be about it for the things that came from Urban Sketchers. I did manage to go to Blick. Unfortunately, Chicago doesn't really have many independent art stores. Definitely none in downtown. There's one a little bit further north, but I was concentrated to being really downtown, and it was so hot, like I said. So I went to Blick right from the airport because one of the stops on the Blue Line stops like 2 blocks away from Blick, and so I thought I better go there. The Blue Line didn't really connect to another metro line that I could easily take to my hotel. It was going to be a bus or Uber, so I thought I'll just get off and go straight to Blick, not go to my hotel first because it was too early for check-in, but yada yada. Anyways, the things that I wanted at Blick weren't in the store. You have to order online, and it would have taken too long. But I did get their own brand of oil pastels to keep in my studio here, because I don't have any oil pastels here. And mostly to work on in my sketchbook, not to work on any of my finished pieces. Like some of my oil paintings, I like to put oil pastels on top. I'm just going to move this out of the way a bit as things topple. So I got that, and then I got a little thing of the Masters brush cleaner, because I brought my larger one here because I have my oil brushes here and they need the most cleaning. But I thought I'd keep a little one for the ones, my watercolor brushes at home when they do need cleaning. And then I have always heard great things about this Kiss Off, and I happened to see it there and just thought, oh, I might as well get it. Especially as I think the day before I left, I got my good dress with oil paint on the sleeves. So I thought this would be great to have in my studio as well. Although I may just carry it in my bag, because I'm sure I will mess up something. Usually when I'm wearing white is the time that I will mess things up. And so that was it from Blick. Really didn't spend very much. The only other thing that I actually bought for myself, I bought a cheap dress because I knew I was just so hot. I thought the night that I arrived there was a sketching event. They have regular sketching events on Thursdays, and so I went to that as well, and it was in Washington Square Park. And I thought I gotta get back to the hotel and change and look presentable for meeting people for the first time. So I did wear that dress. And the only other thing that I got was this Swedish fish, which are actually made in Hamilton, Ontario. And, oh, these ones are actually made in Turkey. Huh. They used to be made in Hamilton, Ontario, where I used to live. But you can't get them here. And I like them way better than the Swedish berries. So I'm gonna keep these in the studio too as a afternoon pick-me-up. So that is it from my amazing weekend in Chicago. I really, really enjoyed it, but I'm super happy to be back. Very happy to be back. That I wasn't sitting on the tarmac or stuck at the airport. Paid off big time to leave earlier. I really wanted to go to the Art Institute yesterday to see the Georgia O'Keeffe pictures of New York that she did. but it was so hot, and then with the storms coming, I thought I better get out of here. And I'm glad I did. And I was able to get the first standby that was the earliest and get on, and I even had a huge amount of leg room. It was incredible. I guess they hold out those seats for people to upgrade to, and nobody did, so I benefited for once. I got a little bit of an upgrade. Probably the first time ever that I ever did. So that's it. I will be showing my sketchbook from Chicago, I'm sure, at some point. I'm just going to put some of the things in it from the weekend and get it all together before I show it to the world. All right? Well, thanks so much. And, check out the Urban Sketchers website. They'll list, I'll put the link below, but they'll list if there's a chapter near you. And it's a great community. It's all levels. Like, do not be intimidated. You'll see some amazing sketchers. A lot of people are out in California. There's a lot of animators, and everywhere else there's usually an architect or two, or a lot, that they're used to doing sketches still, and but it's really the full gamut of levels. And there are people who had just were doing this workshop, and it was the first time that they were ever doing it. And it's nice because they feel intimidated about sketching out in public. What if somebody stares at me or tells me I can't be there, or any of that. So when you're drawing in a group, it's a lot easier. So start with that. I highly recommend it. And if you're in Toronto, there's a Toronto chapter. And that's about it. Thanks so much. Bye.